It was supposed to be a harmless conversation, something lighthearted, something I could brush off. But instead, I opened a door I couldn't close, and in doing so, I lost everything that really mattered. It started like any normal evening. I was sitting on the couch with Luke, my boyfriend of 2 years, as we scrolled through Netflix, trying to find something to watch. Luke was the kind of guy who made everything easy. He was patient, kind, and always there for me. He had his flaws, sure. We both did. But overall, I loved him. He treated me like I was the most important thing in his life, and for the most part, I tried to show him the same love and respect. But there was something I'd never told him, something I thought I'd forgotten. My ex. I thought I had moved on. I thought I had buried those feelings deep enough that I'd never have to confront them. But over the past few months, little things kept popping up, small reminders of my past with him, dreams that felt so real it was like he was still right there beside me. And I didn't know how to process it. That night, as we talked about our future together, I made the mistake of letting it slip. Sometimes, I still dream about my ex, I said, almost as if I were saying it to myself. The words came out before I could stop them. Luke paused the movie, turning to face me, his brow furrowed, and for the first time, there was a tension in his gaze that I hadn't seen before. What do you mean? You dream about him? Like, in your sleep? I tried to brush it off. Yeah, it's nothing. Just sometimes he pops up in my dreams. Nothing more. But it wasn't nothing more. That's what I kept telling myself, but deep down I knew I was still holding on to something. Luke didn't say anything at first. The silence between us felt heavy, like I had said something I couldn't take back. After a few moments, he asked, "Why didn't you tell me this before?" I felt a pang of guilt. I don't know. I didn't think it was important. But it was. I knew it was. Luke looked away, his fingers tapping nervously on the armrest. Are you still in love with him? His voice was steady, but I could hear the underlying hurt, the vulnerability in the question. I shook my head quickly, almost too quickly. No. No, Luke, I'm not in love with him. I love you. I do. I don't want him back. But my words seemed to fall flat. The look in his eyes told me he wasn't convinced. Then why would you dream about him? Why would you even let him into your head if you've moved on? I didn't have an answer. The truth was, I didn't even know why I still thought about him. He was part of my past, a chapter one had closed. But every once in a while, I would catch myself remembering the way he used to look at me, the way his hands felt when he held me. And even though I'd built a life with Luke, even though I loved him, there were times when the ghost of my past would sneak in and remind me of who I used to be. The silence between us deepened. I could feel the walls starting to go up around him, the distance growing. It wasn't just about my ex anymore. It was about everything I hadn't said, everything I had kept hidden. Finally, Luke stood up, his voice cold. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can be with someone who still has a part of their heart somewhere else. I was stunned, my heart racing. What do you mean? Luke, I told you I love you. I'm with you, not him. But his face didn't soften. Instead, there was a hard edge to his eyes. You say you love me, but your heart is somewhere else. You're still holding on to a piece of the past. And I can't compete with that. I don't want to compete, I said, panic rising in my chest. I want to be with you. I want us to work. But Luke shook his head slowly, his voice quiet. I can't do this. I can't be with someone who isn't fully with me. You need to figure out what you really want. Because right now, I don't think it's me. That was it. He grabbed his jacket, walked out the door, and left me there, frozen, in the middle of everything we had built. The silence in the room was suffocating, and for the first time, I realized how much I had taken him for granted. I spent the next few days in a blur. I kept texting, calling, leaving messages. But Luke didn't respond. I tried to convince myself it was just a bump in the road, that we could fix it. But deep down, I knew I had crossed a line. It took him a week to finally call me back. I was sitting on the couch, numb, when his name flashed on the screen. My heart skipped a beat. Luke, I whispered, answering the phone. I can't do this anymore, Sophie, he said, his voice breaking. I love you, but I can't keep wondering if you're still thinking about him. If you're still waiting for him to come back. I tried to explain, tried to tell him that I didn't want my ex anymore. But it didn't matter. You need to figure things out, he said softly. I hope you do. But I can't keep being a backup for someone who isn't fully ready to love me. And with that, he hung up. The next few months were a blur of self-doubt, guilt, and regret. I tried to move on, tried to forget about Luke, but I knew deep down that the relationship had ended long before I realized it. I had taken him for granted. I thought love was about security, comfort, and safety. But love isn't just that. It's about being fully there, in the present, with the person who matters most. I spent weeks trying to understand why I had let my past creep back into my present. I thought about my ex, about what we had. But I realized something important. It wasn't about him anymore.
It was about me.
I learned the hardest lesson, that love doesn't live in the past. It lives in the now. And if you're not careful, you can lose the person who truly cares about you because you're still holding on to a memory. Luke didn't deserve to be compared to a ghost. And I finally realized that I had been looking for closure from a relationship that had ended long ago. So I moved on. Not because I wanted Luke back, but because I finally understood what love really was. It's about presence, about truly being there for the person in front of you, not wondering about someone who's no longer part of your life. I learned that the past can only stay with you if you let it. And I knew that if I ever wanted a future with someone again, I had to fully let go. And in the end, that's what I did.